Hey guys, Zephyrnix here. So as you see by the background, yeah, I'm in a different place right now. Simply because, long and short of it, the video card in my computer actually went kaput on me. I know. Now, it just means I have to go ahead and buy a new one. Now, it's not really a problem buying a new one per se, but it does kind of put a hindrance on things at this particular time. So I thought I'd go ahead and do the video through my MacBook. So, yeah. So anyway, this one's a response to Dr. Terrell, who, I definitely have no hate on. We've talked for a little bit. He's cool people. But then he did a video response to my video of educate yourself, and then he decided, he did put one thing at the bottom, though, in his description, saying, you asked for this with your title. So you kind of asked for this with your description. I mean, you were... Anyway, let's let the whooping begin. So first of all, you stated that Truth told Zephyrnix going from Blu-ray to digital distribution will have a sacrifice in terms of quality unless it's the same size. Is that true or false? Well, no, it's actually false. But here's the thing: that wasn't even the conversation. See, what is that old phrase? Old black phrase I know. What is it? Dipping in the Kool-Aid and don't know the flavor? See, buddy, what the situation was this. We were talking about something totally different than that. We were talking about Blu-rays, more so Blu-rays versus HD streaming, not actual digital distribution. He was actually not really familiar with digital distribution versus HD streaming. And yeah, they do hold a sort of a same thing, but at the same time they don't. But that's just not the video to get into that. So like I said before, man, you probably need to do more homework on what not only the situation is, but what's going on in between, before you even make a comment. I'm just saying. Someone else did that too. I had to kind of let them know. Anyway, so you also stated that Zeph believes that digital distribution will become standard, and if not, it will become soon. Now, you said that anything outside of music, you disagree. Well, here's a problem with that. Number one, newspapers. My wife even mentioned this. Newspapers are becoming more so digital distributed than anything. In fact, the matter is that more people actually watch the news on the actual computer than they actually do on the newspaper. In fact, I mean, hey, most of them people actually do own Apples. That's one of the reasons why they do it. That's the reason why I know, because I'm constantly getting calls by old ladies who constantly want to tell me about, their computer. That's all they do is read the news and things of that nature, and they were concerned because they couldn't do something. That's pretty much it. I mean, at the same time, I mean, what else? Let's give more examples. Well, I'm not going to get some other things too if I wanted to, but I'm just going to hold off on these things right now. But speaking of which, you mentioned outside of music, but the reality of it is that music is a fine example of digital distribution that has become almost a norm. A lot of developers these days don't even go ahead and release CDs anymore. They release it straight on iTunes, or they release it straight on Zune or any other digital distribution marketplace. The reason why is because A, it's a lot cheaper to go ahead and do it on there, and number B, it gives a discount to the customer, because now the customer doesn't have to go ahead and buy a whole CD just to listen to one song. I mean, granted, there are other artists out there who don't, you don't have to worry about that, such as Alanis Morissette, Boyz II Men, and things of that nature. But there are some artists that have about one-hit wonders. Do you really want to go ahead and pay $14 to $16 just to go ahead and listen to one song and leave it on replay? Or would you rather go ahead and pay $1 to $1.20 just to go ahead and get the one song that you want? Exactly. Your outside of music comment was the prime example of you just destroying yourself again. But we keep going. We can keep going. Let's talk about the reasons why you said it wouldn't work. You mentioned one, because people like having discs, because people like having box arts, because people like having disc art, because people like reselling. Do you not really understand that no one gives a damn what you like? Like, seriously. Yeah, it is a selling business. It is that business, yeah. So maybe not giving a damn what you like is not the best way to put it. But the reality of it is that despite that, the producers and all them out there, for that last one that you mentioned, reselling, is the same exact reason why it will go digital distribution. Because of the fact that, wow, dude, you seem to be really like it seems like everything that you say is the reason why you're wrong. But anyway, let me just keep going. So, fact of the matter is that developers don't get paid when you resell it or when you buy new or things of that nature. So obviously that's a problem. They also have to pay for the discard. They have to pay for the discs. So adult developers already know that if they go ahead and get rid of all 4 of those, they would make more money. And that's just all it is. This is, after all, a retail business. Now, that's number 1. Number 2, you also got to factor in the simple fact that when you're doing piracy is a fine example. Piracy and, like I said, we use those pretty much. They're not the same exact thing, but they have the same exact effect. You know, basically no payment. So that's another thing that's going to go, the developers want to get rid of. Another thing is that, what you don't seem to realize, maybe through just not knowing or maybe just ignorance, but the fact of the matter is that when digital distribution becomes a full streaming thing, you will reap the benefits. Why worry about resale value and trying to buy it cheap when you will buy a brand new game cheap? You will be able to go ahead and buy the game that was originally $60 if this was a physical copy to $50 because it's not a physical copy. PC gamers do it all the time. Look at DC Universe Online, a $60 game for PlayStation 3, only $50 on the PC. Why? Because it is digital. No, that's not 100% digital distribution, so that's a bad choice. But there are, at the same time, there are other games. There's another reason why that's bad, because there's other reasons why PC games are a lot cheaper than the actually on console. So that's another reason. Well, no, actually, while that is true, there's another reason. The fact of the matter is that if you really think of it on this aspect, it does work. The reason why it's more expensive is because it's more money involved on the making a game for the console. So when that stops, when they don't have to make when they don't have to put more money on a console just to go ahead and get to get it on the console, the price will go down and you will reap the benefits. I was definitely wrong on that one part, but at the same time, it kind of does work somewhat. Anyway, so that's pretty much it. Now, you also mentioned some other things too. Number 1, you said another reasons why you wouldn't do it is because digital distribution requires internet. True. But then you mentioned these things too. Some people won't. Some people don't have internet, and then some people won't buy online. Well, here's a problem with that, buddy. What you don't seem to get is this: 2 things. 1, when it comes to that first one, when technology rolls, people will roll with it. That's what happened with cars. That's what happened with light bulbs. That's what happened with energy. The list can go on. Hell, that's what happened with CDs, newspapers. I mean, what else do you want to say? That's how technology works. When technology rolls, the human race rolls along with it. That's number 1. As for the not buying online, dude, from working with Apple, the one thing that I've known is this. If you don't give them the option, they will go ahead with the option that's presented to them. That means that if they don't have the ability to buy it offline, if they don't have the ability to buy it offline, basically, if they don't have to buy, if they can't buy the physical copy, they have 2 choices right then. They can go ahead and not buy the game and be screwed. They pretty much screwing themselves for the most part. Or they can go ahead and buy the game on digital version and have a just as good copy, actually probably better. So you pretty much have a choice on what you can do, But the fact of the matter is that, if you're not, then fine. There really is no difference between it. But like I said before, when it comes to Apple, Apple has explained to me definitely that you will go ahead and if you remove the choice from them, that's all you have to do. They'll go with it. They'll go with it. How many people when I'm working for Apple, how many people will say, I want to do it this way, and then that's not the case? I'm like, sir, I'm sorry, you can't do it that way. However, we have these options and this option available. Guess what? They take this option or this option always. Always. Or they can just go ahead and twiddle. Whatever, doesn't matter to me. Another thing that you mentioned was this, and this is when it started getting funny. You start mentioning how you had the Blu-ray version of Batman Begins, right? And you said that it was a double layer disc, right? Now, you went over how it is. Single layer is 25, the single layer disc holds up to 25 gigabyte, double layer holds up to 50, right? Then you actually mentioned that the ones that are double are usually 30 gigs and over, and just the movie alone. That's what you said, just the movie alone. Then you also mentioned on the singles, it is between 15 and 23. Now, I don't get how you can do the math correctly on the double, but can't do the math correctly on the single. But okay, we're gonna keep going anyway. So at the same time, you also mentioned that you had Batman Begins. So I said, okay, well, cool. This is gonna get interesting. You mentioned how the movie alone is only 23 gigabytes. Well, wait a minute. Batman is a double layer disc. So how come you just said that the doubles are 30, but now you're saying Batman Begins, which is a double, is only 23 gigabytes, which is equivalent to a single? Now you're starting to screw up. Either something's going on here. Now something is wrong. So now, here's the thing. I don't remember you ever telling us that you actually had a Blu-ray drive in your PC. I don't remember that. I could be wrong. I don't remember you saying that. Another thing is that since one, because obviously you can't find that out on a PlayStation 3. I'm just saying. But another thing is that since when could you find out the movie file size on a DVD? I mean, on a Blu-ray. You can't even find it on a DVD. And there is a reason because of that. The reason why is because the file that the movie is located in has more than just the movie in it. In other words, it is impossible to find out wow, the size of the movie, because human cases, it has more than just one particular types of movies in them. I mean, one particular file within the movie file. Number 3, well, I already mentioned about the Batman Begins 23 gigabytes, and you just said it. So, like, for those 3 things right there, you just contradicted yourself hard, which already kind of lowers, like, it's like, okay, so this guy already just contradicted himself. Does he even know what he's talking about? I'm thinking, no, dude, I'm thinking you're full of ignorance, but whatever, we're going to keep going. Now, here's the part that really started making me think, ignorance was more so of a, okay, well, let's just give him the benefit of the doubt. This is where it got dangerous. You said that you also did a Google search on my rip and that it was only 720p. Now, 2 things are wrong with that subject, on that thing. One, at what point did I even show you the rip that I have? At what point did I show you the rip that I have? Okay, I don't remember telling you anything about the rip. I mean, I did show you, I said I had a rip, but I never mentioned a lot of things about the rip. I'm just letting you know. Was it a WMV file? Was it an MKV file? Was it an MPEG? Was it MPEG 4? Which one was it? I didn't tell you that. That's number 1. And number 2, how are you going to do a Google search on a rip that I did myself and I never put the information on the internet, man? How is it that you did that? So now I'm thinking you're lying. Like, seriously, I'm thinking you're full of shit. I'm just being honest with you, Terrell. Okay? I'm just being honest with you. Now, I'm like, okay, dude. Anyway, so he also said that he noticed that I mentioned that DTS is in the rip, and there is no option for DTS on Batman Begins. He's right. Batman Begins actually has Dolby Digital True HD 5.1, I believe. But here's the problem with that logic, dude. While you are correct, the fact of the matter is that Dolby Digital True HD actually have a higher compression rate than DTS. In other words, that is the reason why I chose DTS to use as the rip, because I wanted more of a better sound. DTS actually has a better sound than actual Adobe Digital True HD. Hate to break it to you, but that's how it is. And no, seriously, you do your research, guys. There are a lot of websites out there that has done the research on these particular things, and they've come down with the same conclusions. I got that through digital distribution, by the way. Anyway, anything else I gotta say? I ain't got nothing else to say about this. Like I said, I stopped watching your video at about 6 minutes and 17 seconds precisely, because I realized that, dude, you didn't know what you were talking about. See, so if I got to give you any form of advice, is that be careful with these particular videos that you do, because when you start talking too much shit, a lot of times you get shitted on. And right now, I'm just saying, dude, you got a Mr. Hanky hanging right from your eyeball or your ear or something like that. I'm just saying, dude. Holla.